We got a green light. And the reason that matters so much is because yesterday we got all new globes for our guidance, and we were told they were ready to go, but our luck, we always make sure. So, boom, I got SF1, which for fall, that's more than enough. Look at that sunrise. Hoping to run pretty hard this morning. Well, actually all day, because not used to it anymore, but we're actually trying to beat some weather that's going to come in a couple days, and tomorrow's Saturday, and I don't feel like running Saturdays anymore. So hopefully we can get all of our bean acres sprayed today. I think we got about a little over 800 acres left to spray, which is why I have recruited Dad for the whole day to kind of tend to me, because if it was me by myself again, there's no way I'd get it done. But with him following me around, I've sprayed more than 800 acres in the past, so I think we can do it barring any problems. So we'll see how it goes. So much for having a rear view camera this morning. Thank you, son.
So Jared just informed me that everything I recorded this morning from the time I got out of the house, in the shop, everything together to meet him at his house was on time-lapse, because that's what the guys were recording on yesterday. How am I supposed to know that? Probably some of my best stuff too.
So with that being said, good morning and welcome to the channel.
So anyway, we are going to try to get bean stubble finished up today. Beautiful fall morning. Anyway, good morning. So with the new receiver, well, on any receiver, when you switch it to a different machine, it requires you to do a calibration for the terrain compensation module, which allows it to compensate anytime you're up or down or side to side. So if you're on a hillside, obviously your receiver moves sideways, so it can move over a foot. Well, instead of it thinking that the machine's a foot off, it knows that it's on a hillside and not just moved over, and allows it to stay on the correct line. That probably made absolutely no sense.
All right, well, we got loaded, and I quickly realized that Dad was in time-lapse mode, so that was a little frustrating on his part, but oh well. We got loaded, and now I'm doing my reclaim just like I did in the previous video to flush clean water through the boom. I am now using it to flush product through the boom, so that when I start spraying, it's the correctly mixed product and not fresh water.
All right, well, I'm going to get back in the truck where it's a little warmer.
Well, the race is on. It's only been about 10 minutes, and I'm halfway done with my first 60-acre field. Got a lot of fields to do today, though. We decided to go ahead and head all the way north. This is basically, we've got one field further north, but that's corn stalks, so we'll spray that with a different chemical later. So as of right now, this is our northernmost field. So we figured we'd start here and slowly work our way back towards the shop as the day progresses. All right, guys, I can't let all of Dad's hard work this morning go to waste. So I'm gonna look it over first, but here's all of Dad's time-lapsed footage from this morning. as you can tell, he put quite a bit of work into that this morning, so I feel bad for him, but hey, you gotta laugh at it every now and then.
I'll get ready what I can for Jared. Try not to do how Jared does. I can remember that in the day, it seemed like you'd go into winter time and you just couldn't wait for spring. You know, it just seemed like winter just lasted forever. Now it seems like with the amount of grain we haul and all the other jobs we've kind of taken on as far as excavator work, and it doesn't seem like winter's long enough anymore. Helps getting an early start on some of the fall stuff. Getting harvest out early gives us an extra, man, this year almost an extra 2-3 weeks, so pretty nice.
All right, tank number 1 is empty, and this is why it's really nice having Dad with me today. He is already waiting on me, chemicals already loaded. All I gotta do is pull up to him and start pumping. I could just stand here and record him too. Let him do all the work. Look at that. Chemicals already mixed. Got 2,4-D in that one and simazine in that one. And no spills. But don't worry, this is only load 2 out of 7. We got plenty of time for that, but nah, we're not gonna do any of that today. All right, fill number 3. Done about 250 acres so far, so let's run over this boom real quick, make sure none of my nozzles got twisted, make sure I don't have anything going crazy, because you can only see behind you so much. Oh, look at that. And that is why you check things over. Oh. This is part of my reclaim system. And it looks like my clamp is just about bottomed out already. So it's not a terrible leak. I may try and tighten that down a little bit, but I've had problems with this in the past. I think what I'm gonna have to do once we get back to the shop for winter, I'm just gonna have to get a second clamp it down there, because this one on its own is obviously not doing enough. So that's a problem, but not exactly a terrible enough problem I'm worried about it right now. So let's check the rest of these nozzles. Looks like everything is still fine. I'll worry about that later. And these are the fields down here that slow me down on my 800 acre day goals. Because this field, it's about 15 acres. It is completely surrounded by tree line. And check this out. That's what it looks like. There's not, I guess that's technically square. And you got a short stretch here that's straight, but that's about it. And it's definitely one of those fields that in order for me to get backed into that corner, which is actually the entrance, I've got to leave my tips folded because my 120 foot width is a little too wide. But that's all right, I can go in here and I can shut each of the 2 outside sections off and it'll spray just like that. So when I leave my tips folded, I'm only about 85 feet wide, which makes me just narrow enough that I can back into that tree line on that side and that tree line on that side. And then once I spray a short swath long enough to get me out of that entrance, I back up and I unfold the rest of the way. Because of course, if I can start spraying 120, why in the world would I stay at about 85? The only thing you gotta do, you gotta make sure, kick your outside sections back on. And this is what happens when you're bordering a bunch of tree lines. I've bumped a stick or limb hard enough that nope, okay. So it's not because I bumped a limb. It's really deceiving. Looking from the cab, you're like, all right, I'll remember where that was at. But it's really deceiving. So let's check this one. But I got one spraying sideways. Can you guys see inside that? You've got the two holes in there. See that one on the right is plugged. And I've got a fancy dancy paper clip in the cab that fits perfect in there to unplug those. Because when you plug half the hole, your pattern isn't very good anymore. All right, well that one little plug seemed to solve my problem. Oh, hey, side note, somebody's gonna have a tree to clean up this winter. But that one little piece of residue is what was plugging my nozzle, and looks like I've got a good pattern across my entire boom right now, which I know that you guys probably cannot see. Can you? How about this? If I can hold it steady enough. Nope, you still can't see it. But just take my word for it. I got good pattern. Well, we're back here again. This load's a little different. I'm only mixing, only mixing about 100 gallons of water. We're doing straight Roundup this load because actually on the north end of this field, there are two nasty waterways that we cleared a few years ago and never did really level them out the way we should have. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and burn them down completely this fall and then eventually work them smooth. And I think we're going to try to let the no-till hold those areas. They don't have a whole lot of watershed that goes through them. And then if it ever comes to where we can't hold it with no-till, we'll seed it and blanket at that point. But first step is getting them burned down. And a heavy dose of Roundup is exactly what'll do the trick. All right, so right here's the first waterway. Second one is that strip over there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hang my left boom over the waterway and just spray the whole thing. And it's gonna feel so weird. You literally spend all your day spraying around waterways, trying to stay out of waterways. Make sure your boom's off anytime you cross the waterway. And now I'm going to specifically spray the waterway. It just doesn't feel right. But it needs to be done. We've put it off long enough, and doing this is going to force us to do something with these waterways. All right, got that first one done. Now on this second one, I think we've got to leave this first part where it goes off to this finger. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start kind of even with this finger, like right in there, and then spray the rest of it. Well, what's done is done. There's no going back now. Well, made it down here to our wheat that I planted, couple weeks ago now, I think. Looks pretty good if you ask me. We've got a nice even stand. The little bit of rain we got yesterday definitely helped this out, I think. But I wanted to come down. This is my current AB line running my boundary. But I wanted to make sure that this last nozzle was gonna be far enough away from my row, because what I am spraying will kill the wheat. So it's not bad, but I'm afraid I'm gonna get a little drift. So I'm gonna knock my AB line probably another 6-8 inches away from the wheat so that I know I'll be good. Which is as easy as driving to the north side of this AB line. So I'm 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's close enough. So now I will recenter. Boom. Now I'm about 9 inches further away from the wheat. I'll go low and slow, keep my drift down, and I think the wheat will be just fine. Keep it nice and low.
Well, Jared's been spraying all day. I've been following him around. We are not gonna quite get bean stubble done today. Gonna be probably 75, 80 acres short. It's gonna get dark on us, so we're gonna run one more tank, or at least a majority of one more tank tonight, and probably just finish up tomorrow real quick.
Well, unfortunately, that is me getting ready to lose the last of my daylight. And I've only got 5 acres left in this field, but I still have another 60-acre field and 20-acre field. So, unfortunately, I am going to fall about 80 acres short of my 800-acre goal today. I just had way too much road time and too many small patches that I had to deal with. Hey, it was still a good day. I got about 720 acres done. All I got to do is mess with one load in the morning to finish it all up. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm kind of bummed. I thought for sure I'd be able to get all these acres covered, but that's not the way the cookie crumbled today, I guess. No problems, just not enough time in the day to do it all. That's where I'm gonna call it quits for today, and I'm gonna leave you guys with this fact. Every time you lick a stamp, which not many people lick stamps anymore, but when you do, or if you do, you consume 1/10 of a calorie. I don't know from what, but supposedly you do. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't. Find that thumbs up button for us. And as always, see you in the next one.